The most common question I get asked is, what is it like living on a boat? And honestly, it depends on the boat you live on. But it is interesting hearing people's assumptions and what they picture. For some people, it's a pontoon boat, while others are thinking of a luxurious yacht. For my husband and I, we live on a 30-foot deep-sea fishing boat, and we are approaching 4 years this December. The manufacturer actually made it 1 inch short of 30 feet to avoid it being classified as a yacht. One of the things most people are surprised to hear is the walk to and from the boat. It is a commitment. As our water level changes throughout the year, so does the incline walking back and forth. It can be anywhere from a quarter mile to a half mile to go between the boat and the car. This massively affects what I'm willing to buy because everything that makes it to the boat had to be carried down to it. And today is my favorite day of the month when I get to go pick up my monthly food delivery from Azure. I am constantly finding ways to make our space in the boat more efficient and livable. This means there are still so many projects to do. I'm trying to transition away from everyday toxins in our boat, which is why I bought soap nuts. I have actually been using castile soap and peppermint oil for the last year or so, which I've really enjoyed, and honestly I'm just curious to see how these turn out. They do end up working, however there are some drawbacks. You have to use about 4 or 5 soap nuts per load. The inconvenient part is that you do need to let them air dry before you can reuse them again. It's not often that this happens, but I enjoy a day at the boat by myself. One of the household conveniences people notice are missing from the boat is a dishwasher. We hand wash all of our dishes, and it's honestly not something I really think about anymore. Growing up, I remember being frustrated with the dishwasher half the time anyway, whether it was foaming up the kitchen or because I couldn't use it during certain times of the day. So honestly, I don't even notice it's missing. When we first moved onto the boat, we had a lot of plastic in our kitchen, which I wanted to move away from. I was afraid to transition to glass, for good reason. I didn't want them falling and breaking. I started transitioning to stainless steel mixing bowls and other appliances. After a couple of decorative glass containers broke in the boat, I decided on mason jars, which has been a wonderful transition in the boat. The only ones that have broken is from user error and not because they fell and broke. Since I will be at the boat all day, it's the perfect time to let the beans simmer. We have been trying to get in the habit of making our own beans rather than eating from a can. It goes back to space conservation in the boat. A whole jar of dried beans takes up way less space, and honestly, when you add some good salt and bacon to it, it's much better anyway. Since the boat is as small as it is, it's really easy to track dirt in here, whether it is from tracking it in on our shoes or having the door open. So we rely a lot on this little vacuum to keep it clean in here. We recently got the flooring down and the fabric on the ceiling up, and the remnants from both of these projects still haven't quite made it out of the boat. Today I am making bread because it's one of those things that my husband is so happy coming home to smelling in the boat. I bought 25 pounds of organic unbleached flour, which is exactly how I found Azure in the first place. My husband used to break out on his hands and he thought it was a reaction to gluten. It turns out, gluten isn't the bad guy, but all the other ingredients in the loaf of bread are. I began making bread at home, and after about a year, I was determined to find an affordable flour that was better to consume. This is a very basic bread recipe. It's 3 cups of flour, 2 tablespoons of yeast, and a tablespoon of salt, and 1.5 cups of warm water. Then to spice it up a little bit, I like adding some sunflower seeds, rosemary, and garlic powder. I found Azure last September and have bought from them every month since. It's made healthy transitions easier on the boat and more affordable. If you are interested in trying Azure, I have a link down below along with my share code. Since it's a warm day out, I place the bowl outside and it takes about 45 minutes between each rise. I am at the end of my flour, so it is time for a refill. The irony is, my dad, who also lives on a boat, just got a grain mill. If I had known that, I wouldn't have bought 25 pounds of extra flour. But when I run out of flour, I will be buying grain next time for the first time, so I am interested to see how that goes. Since I was getting a better quality ingredient, I didn't feel good about just putting it in a plastic bin. I came up with this tester mock-up using a fabric lining, holding it in place with magnets. I have been very pleased with this setup overall and would spend time making improvements to the design and remaking new ones. I use this same setup for my organic cane sugar that I also get from Azure. And when I make more space, I will be doing this for my pasta and my rice as well. If you are curious, this is the breakdown of the costs for the organic high-quality ingredients that I have transitioned to. You can get smaller quantities and there are many options. The selling point where Azure really got me was that there are no shipping costs. Since they only deliver once a month, you can get as much or as little as you want, and there is no surprise fee or charge at the end. I am skeptical of olive oil in general. If you know, you know. I wish I knew exactly what olive oil should taste like, but I will say it's stronger than the olive oil at the store, so this is the one I enjoy right now. They, as in the experts, say that real olive oil will have a strong, bitter, and almost a spicy flavor, which I would say this has. I wish I could compare it truly. Time to put it back outside for a second rise. So earlier this year, my husband and I made the jump and bought a half cow from a local farm. This comes out to 280 pounds of meat, and honestly for us, there's no going back. I remember hearing that when you go to a real steakhouse, it is offensive to ask for steak sauce because when it's cooked right, it should not be lacking anything. For one, I grew up loving A1 sauce, and I thought that when we bought our half cow, I would be going through steak sauce so much. I am pleasantly surprised that I understand now. The flavor is so much stronger. So this got me thinking. I have never tried farm-raised chicken, and I wondered if I would have the same experience in comparing it to regular chicken from the store. So this is the first chicken I have ever made that was organically raised and air-chilled frozen. No bleach processes or hormones to this one. I seasoned it as I would normally: salt, garlic powder, dill, and ginger. The bread tastes great, but I do look forward to leveling up my bread game. I had attempted to make sourdough starter this summer, but it was just really difficult in the boat, so hopefully I can attempt it again in the winter when it's cooler inside the boat. The chicken turned out amazing, but it was quickly devoured, so this is all you get to see. It did not disappoint and had a stronger chicken flavor and a thicker skin. So back to the question of what is it like living on a boat? For us, we love it. We absolutely love it out here. The sunsets never get old. People will say living the dream, but out here it's living the life, a pleasant life.